Hey guys, welcome back to the Prehistoric Life Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Crawford, and today we're back with another short, episode, but also another battle for our tournament. This one is a little unfair. I probably should have done some deeper research on this, but Abelisaurus versus Concavenator. All right, so let's dive right in with this quick analysis of these creatures. Abelisaurus comes in at a whopping 11.5 feet, or about 3.5 meters, 11 and a half feet, and a whopping 29 to 30-ish feet long. This thing weighs about 1.5 to 3.3 tons. This thing had a crazy bite force similar to Allosaurus at about 3,500 newtons of force. This thing is a complete monster and an absolute unit. Now, this thing probably has the main advantage because Abelisaurus probably ate large sauropod dinosaurs such as Amargasaurus. Scientists think Abelisaurus hunted in packs. It may also have hunted smaller plant-eating dinosaurs such as small ornithopod Gasparinasaurus. Don't ask me how that's said properly. But yeah, that's Abelisaurus. You're about to see a drastic change from Abelisaurus to Concavenator. So this is Concavenator coming in at about 2 meters tall, or about 6.6 feet tall, and about 6 meters long. So they're about the same length, but that's also about, well, no, they're not. That's about about 20 feet. Really? Belosaurus is 9 feet. Concavenator is 6 feet. Concavenator has a bite force of 8,000 pounds. That's not the same measurement. So 8,000 pounds. Or about 35,000 newtons. There's no way. So actually, this thing had a better bite force than. There's no way this is 8,000 newtons or pounds of force, pounds per square inch. Because that's a lot. All right, and this thing weighed about 710 to 880 pounds. We'll put it. We'll lower its bite force to 3,500. We'll put them at an even bite force, since I don't think 8,000 pounds of bite force to Concavenator is down. His vision is blurred. He felt a bite at the neck, and tremendous bite force of 8,000 pounds, which is the strongest. Okay, so this is okay. Never mind. This is something else. Because this is saying that something else bit a Concavenator, which is a little misleading because I looked up this is T-Rex versus Concavenator, which isn't a fair fight, but I will put Concavenator at a solid bite force of, what was Abelisaurus? 3,500? 2,000. Well, I'll give it a solid bite force of 2,000. But Concavenators hunted small prey animals such as small mammals and small theropods. So this thing still didn't really stand a chance against Abelisaurus. On the simple fact that Abelisaurus pretty much hunted things Concavenator sized and larger. Concavenator hunted things smaller than it. So this isn't really going to end well for Concavenator, simply on the fact that Abelisaurus clearly has the edge. But before we jump into our fight, let me jump a simple word from our sponsor, uh, Dinosaur Trips. Please go check them out. They have a lot of amazing content. And tell them Prehistoric Life sent you. They'll give you $250 off your ticket. I personally recommend the Red Rocks and Raptors trip because that's the one that Dr. Brian Curtis himself is leading. But again, that is Dinosaur Trips. Amazing dude. We had an interview with him. If you want their Instagram, here is their Instagram. If it'll load, there it is. They got a lot of amazing content on there. So I really heavily suggest that you check it out. It is worth it. And if you really want to go, again, tell them Eric or Prehistoric Life Podcast sent you, and they'll give you $250 off your tickets. But let's dive right back into this battle. Okay, so Concavenator is clearly screwed. Abelisaurus hunted sauropods and could probably bite clean through Concavenator at least once. And it's going to ragdoll Concavenator around because it's size, it's taller, it's heavier, it's longer, its bite force is more powerful. I guess the only thing Concavenator really has is that its arms aren't useless compared to it. So I guess let's dive right into this fight. Lone Concavenator stalks its prey in the woods. As an Abelisaurus walks through the opening, the Concavenator mistakes it for something else. It quickly leaps. It runs and leaps onto Abelisaurus' side, pouncing and biting at Abelisaurus' neck. Abelisaurus screeches out as it tries to nip at Concavenator's side. Concavenator uses its claws and digs into Abelisaurus' neck as it bites and rips at the tendons in Abelisaurus' neck. Abelisaurus is able to get its jaws around the tail and lower body and fling Concavenator into a tree. Concavenator gets up and shakes a little bit to tell Abelisaurus, I'm not done with you yet. Abelisaurus just looks at Concavenator confused, wondering why this small fry is challenging it. Concavenator charges in at Abelisaurus, but Abelisaurus does not flinch. Concavenator quickly bites down at the leg of Abelisaurus, but Abelisaurus just kicks Concavenator over. Abelisaurus quickly storms up and bites Concavenator on the face, picking it up and ramming its body into a tree. Concavenator feels the pressure of its skull being crushed in Abelisaurus' jaws. As Abelisaurus goes to smash Concavenator into a tree again, it rips skin from the upper and the lower jaw clean off. Concavenator is able to use its smaller size to maneuver and slip between Abelisaurus' legs. As then it jumps onto the side of Abelisaurus again, getting on its back, ripping at the skin at the neck and the sides of the neck, biting on the back of the neck, scratching the sides of the neck and the sides of the body. It bites down on one of the tiny arms of Abelisaurus and starts chewing and ripping at it, trying to pull the arm off. Abelisaurus is able to just roll over and crush Concavenator under its superior weight. You get it, Concavenator, a little shooken but still standing up, notices that Abelisaurus is now towering over it. Concavenator goes to slash, but Abelisaurus gets down low and bites down on the arm of Concavenator, lifting Concavenator up into the air by its arm as its jaws clamp shut, completely cutting just right at the joint, just right at the shoulder, just ripping Concavenator's shoulder out of socket as Concavenator slams to the ground, bleeding out of its stump arm. Abelisaurus quickly swallows Concavenator's arm as Concavenator roars out. Quickly maneuvers again to the side, sidestepping, blood gushing in puddles below it as Abelisaurus quickly maneuvers its head and spinning it around, biting Concavenator on the tail, sliding Concavenator, dragging it in front of it, quickly biting down on Concavenator's neck, clamping down, breaking Concavenator's neck as it snaps. Abelisaurus bites as hard as it can, just snapping, breaking, and shattering the spine of Concavenator. Concavenator goes limp, its eyes going blurred, its head tilting down as it coughs up blood. Blood bleeding, dripping from its stump arm. Concavenator gives out one of its last squeaks, but Abelisaurus slams it to the ground, stepping on Concavenator's side, biting down on the neck and jerking the head of Concavenator forward, snapping the neck of Concavenator. Abelisaurus screams out as it starts to feed on the small body of Concavenator. Okay. if that was not an obvious victory for Abelisaurus, I don't really know what to say. I thought it was pretty darn clear that Abelisaurus dominated Concavenator simply on the fact that it is double the size. It has I'm sure it has a superior bite force. Considering I don't actually know what Concavenator's bite force is, but I gave it a bite force of 2,000 psi. But again, that is not even. This is not even like a fair fight at this point. Abelisaurus hunts things quadruple the size of Concavenator. Concavenator only really hunts stuff smaller than it. So unless they can prove that Concavenator is able of taking down a sauropod, I'm sorry, Concavenator. I love Concavenator. I love the look of it. I love the hump. I love everything about it. But Abelisaurus is taking the victory. Simply because it is much larger and it has a lot more weight to throw. It's got a lot more weight to throw around. It's got a harder bite force. It's larger. Concavenator it might have been more maneuverable. Abelisaurus is taking the win. So, if you want more content like this and additional content, go check out my not my website, my Instagram account. Remember, get me to 500 followers, and I will do a giveaway. And we'll start talking about doing a giveaway. I'm hoping to do that before the end of summer. Yes, about all that. But remember, I do additional content. We recently went to Dueling Dinos. I'm going to hopefully have an episode soon. Hint, hint, Sky, Paleo Lindsay, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, hint, hint, whatever. Get your act together. Come on the show. Just kidding. All right. But if you want to see my content earlier, I try to post everything about 2-ish days earlier on my YouTube account. Just go subscribe to that. If you guys get me to 100 subscribers, 92 videos. Wow. If you guys can get me to 100 subscribers, 500 followers, and whatever amount of on whatever platform this is. Hang on. What listens am I at? I'm at about 6,000 plays. If you guys can manage to get me to roughly one moment, please. Everything's loading. If you guys can get me to 100 subscribers, 100 followers on Instagram, and let's go with, you know what? I'm going to be hefty here. I'm only going to go 8,000 plays on Spotify. 8,000 plays total. And you know what? If you guys can get me to 200 Spotify followers, I will drag Dr. Brian Curtis. I will drag Sky from the Dinomancer. I'll drag them onto the show, and they'll talk about Allosaurus with me. Probably around Christmas time, whenever the Allosaurus Scaled Skull drops for fossil crates. But that's a different discussion. And again, if you want all of that in one place, go check out Prehistoric Life Podcast.com. From there, you can get to my YouTube, my Instagram. You can see all the episodes that I've already. Don't know what happened to the newest one. Shouldn't be out yet because it's a Tuesday. Yep. But again, go check out all that. I'm your host, Eric Crawford, signing off. This has been Prehistoric Podcast. Remember, keep it prehistoric. Goodbye.